It was August the 25th, 1926, Fairmont, West Virginia. When the Depression hit, I was 3, and the way that we used to heat the house, every time we got back from school, we would go to the railroad and bring a coal scuttle with us and pick up all the soft coal, the bituminous that would fall off the open coal cars, and bring it home, and that's how we heated their houses. And I have a really unpleasant memory is when my father died. My mother said we had to move down to Houston because that's where her people are, or were. I had this thought that I would like to become a mechanical engineer. So a guy that used to teach public speaking at the high school that I went to called me up one day. He says, "Has your voice changed yet?" And I said, "Yeah." He says, "You're always fairly bright. You want to get a job in a radio station?" I said, "Doing what?" He says, "Being an announcer." I said, "Fine. What are you going to pay me?" And he said, $36 a week. I said, "Oh my God." Well, that was big money for me. ABC was the hind dog in the networks in those times, so they decided to do a show called Saturday at the Shamrock, which I call like a big-time band remote.
Here is Saturday at the Shamrock. From the Emerald Room of America's magnificent hotel, the American Broadcasting Company presents Saturday at the Shamrock.
Thank you, Art Finger, and a very cordial good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
And so I got a chance to meet the Marx Brothers, 2 of them, Chico and Harpo, and Dinah Shore, and big bands of those days like Tommy Dorsey, Jimmy Dorsey, Claude Thornhill. These are names that nobody's really familiar with these days, but in those days they were, big time. After one of those shows, went out to the pool, me and a guy named Tom Franklin, who was also at the station, and I see this beautiful woman across the pool, and I say to Tom, "Let's go across the pool," because she was there with an older lady. And Tom says, "Okay, let's go." And I said, "You take the old one." He said, "Okay." So we go over, and that's how I meet Geraldine. And she was there with her mother, who had come down from New Jersey. I just fell in love. And so the next day, I asked her to marry me. She said, "You're nuts." And I said, "Oh, yeah." So I came home and I said to Jerry, "Terry Lee wants me to do a kid show." She said, "Really?" "Yeah. I don't know what I'm going to do." So she came up with this concept. The mayor of the town, and "You'll be the mayor, be Mayor Art." The kids would be, instead of flats or like wallpaper, they would be participants. And instead of, "Hi kid, what's your name?" they would be members of the city council. The town would be called Toonie Town because they're cartoons. So she said, "I'll make you an old-fashioned frock coat." And so she sewed up a black, almost a knee-length coat. And I bought one of those top hats from a costume show. The reason I got Art Finley is because one of the guys at the TV station said, "We can't have a guy named Finger doing a kid show. How about Finley?" And I said, "Okay." So we started in San Francisco at the bottom of the mark. We moved to Stockton and did the kids show there for about 2 or 3 years. Really a success because mine was, as she planned it, a different kind of a show. Well, it worked. A guy that I used to work with in Stockton, went to work at KRON in San Francisco, KRON TV, called me and he says, "You want to do the Mayor Art Show?" And I said, "Why?" He said, "Because Bruce Sedley, the guy who's Skipper Sedley, he's gone on vacation." I said, "Sounds good to me." And then this guy Sedley says, "I'm not coming back." They said, "You want to keep on doing the Mayor Art Show? Because it seems like it's working." And they were calling it the Popeye Show because I was just doing Popeye cartoons starting in fall of 1959.
I want to welcome you to the Popeye Show on the electric television. What in the world is this, for goodness sake? Who turned this bird loose in here? Oh, that's not a bird. That's just one of these artificial birds. You haven't given us a school lunch menu. Cook surprise! You mean tomorrow in all the San Francisco schools you don't know what they're going to serve? Nobody knows except the cook, and he's not talking.
And those 6 years were very productive. I just had a great time. Some kid had been prepped by his father because I always asked the kids to tell me riddles. So the kid comes up and he says, "What goes in hard and stiff and comes out soft and slippery?" I don't know. Kid says, "Chewing gum." So the father got his revenge. Laughed my ass off.
Say, excuse me.
What I realized was I was doing something that I liked doing.
In the motion pictures that you have made, Betty Davis, what is your favorite?
I suppose Dog Victory.
At 7 o'clock, CHQN News. The fighting in the central highlands of South Vietnam has increased in the past 24
The big
hours.
ones always make me laugh. I watched Red Skelton yesterday. He makes me laugh, and he did some very funny things.
What was the average farm salary when you began?
When we started the organizing drive in '62, the average wage in the grapes in Delano was 85 cents an hour.
You are the most popular black man in the world.
You're alive,
today.
so don't be giving me that stuff they gave Malcolm X. You are the most popular black man in the world.
I understand that you got a movie coming out with a friend of yours by the name of Sid Poitier.
His career wasn't going very well.
How do you like this ham sandwich, Mr. Frost?
Oh, fantastic. Super. Fantastic. Can we have the camera around on this glass of water? Can we have the other camera around on Liz's ring? See, excuse me for Liz's ring.
Well, I think the Lone Ranger is ashamed. I think that for so long a time that Tonto has been in back of him, this bugs him. And realizing that the Indian was here first.
A couple stopped me who were participating in the convention and seeing my name on the badge, and they said my 12-year-old child was choking, and I used the Heimlich maneuver and saved her life.
All right!
Oh, James Brown.
That's what I'm talking about. Who's the first man to ever scream? Because he meant to do it.
Me in key. If I'm singing in D, I scream in D. If I'm singing in F, I scream in F. I guess that's one of my trademarks.
We're trying to answer all the time that one single question. What kind of a Canada do you, the people of Canada, want? Because here's the kind of Canada we think we can give you, and you make up your minds whether you think we can give it to you better than the other parties, and that's what an election is all about.
I heard one ringy-dingy, I heard two ringy-dingies. Is this Mr. Finley?
I wouldn't be smart to anybody from the telephone company.
Do not flatter yourself, Mr. Art Finley. You could not possibly threaten the phone company.
I would rate out of 100% the fortunate choice of choosing the perfect partner, life partner, my wife. As far as children are concerned, perfect. 3 kids, proud of all 3, love all 3, marvelous choices that they made as choice of spouses, couldn't be happier. I hope they like me as much as I like them. And as I said, if I have unknowingly offended somebody, I apologize. If I have knowingly offended somebody, give me a chance and I'll do it again.